So, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Of Shabbos Kodesh. A little sweaty, I guess, perhaps. So, shtetl schlepping. Big bar mitzvah. My son, my youngest, bar mitzvah the Shabbos. He big party this past week, a couple of days ago, and now the Shabbos. Let's see if Saba J is able to teach. Still has it. The ability to teach bar mitzvah lesson. My oldest son didn't teach at all. Second son, Bahar, 60 psukim, was able to get most of it. And this week, Nitzavim, someone else is learning, Avishai Harson's learning vayalech, so only 40 psukim or so. And we'll let you know next week how he laned. It'll be great. He already laned on Thursday. So pretty happy. Schlepping for the big Kiddush. Those people who are in, you're passing by Beit Shemesh, Rampa Shemesh, Shabbos, just keep on going, if you don't mind. So Atem Nitzavim Hayo Kolchem. So short laning, some vayalech will be out in and out pretty quick. But it's interesting, just the first few psukim is a lot to talk about because Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kolchem. Today you're all gathered together, and then Moshe speaks about each lesson. Tavchem, Shechem, Gercha, Keretzecha, Shov Meimecha, all the different jobs. So why have kolchem if you're going to speak about all these people anyway? Just say Atem Mitzvah Hayom, Roshechem, Shefnechem, Tahabchem, Shechem. Why is kolchem there? And really, why is it needed to mention all these different people if kolchem is there? And so it's very strange. Hayom, Nitzavim, we're all standing today. Shkach, I'm sure when Moshe was speaking, no one was sitting down. Everyone was standing for Moshe Rabbeinu. So what's going on? So Sir Shalom has some interesting ideas, some really good takeaways as we kind of nitzav hayom as we're getting to Yom Hadin. Sir Shalom says nitzavim hayom. It's not again. This isn't a storybook. It's not story time. These are lessons for us. Nitzav hayom is literally how we stand on the day Rosh Hashanah on the day even though it wasn't Rosh Hashanah when Moshe was giving the speech over. But this is the day, Yitzhak Hayom, all of you are standing here, Hayom Hadin. We're all standing, we're all preparing for Yom Hadin. So there's two different lessons here. There's Kulchem, and then there's mentioning every person by themselves, because first, each person is different. The Chote Beitzecha, the guy who's cutting wood, is different than the Rosh Echem. And the Rosh Echem is different than the women. And the women are different than the Tapchem. And the point is that each person has their own din. Each person, even though we're all judged on Rosh Hashanah, each person's judged differently depending on their status and what their situation is. Someone who, quote unquote, knows better is judged differently. The Rosh Echem, the Ziknechem, they're going to be judged on Machshava. Did they have the right intentions, the right kavanos when they did mitzvos? Did they say Hashem's name properly? Did they not? Were they always with a smile on their face? Were they mechazik the people? They're very different Yom Hadin than Shov Meimecha. The people who are schlepping water all day, you know what? They can't. They're not going to be judged the same way because they're probably very tired, working a full day of schlepping bottles of water, and maybe they can open up a safer once in a while. Maybe they don't daven three times a day. Maybe they can't make it to shul. Maybe just Shabbos. So they have a different judgment. But for things that are in their power, their ability, they're going to be judged for that. And same thing with Tavchem, with, children. Bar mitzvah age, people just came bar mitzvah. They're not really, they don't really know the mitzvahs that well. They're not too sure exactly what to do when they come late to shul. What do you skip? What you don't skip? And they have a certain judgment for them as well. And the sheikha, they have a judgment as well. Some things they couldn't do, some things they had to be in charge of the house, so they're not going to be judged for coming to shul, not coming to shul, or davening, and this and that. So everyone has a different judgment. And therefore, each lesson, each person, each strega, each level is mentioned because every person on their own. And even more than that, the Shem has something very interesting is within each person, they're judged differently depending on the time, the day, the matzah, the situation. Some people get really angry or the really bad midos when the matzah is their pressure. You're under pressure. and you say words they're not supposed to say, or you yell at people you're not supposed to yell. But if you're in a matzav that you're under a lot of pressure, you're almost be'ones, as opposed to regular. If I'm not being pressured and I'm just angry at people and mad at people, that's a harsher judgment because you have no real excuse for that. So you're judged differently depending on your matzav. So forget about different matzav of people, but within yourself, you're judged differently. And of course, obviously, we want to get rid of the core, la core, as the shoresh of bad, the bad midos. We want to get rid of that. But we have that's kind of almost an optimistic approach. Unfortunately, I try as best I can to get rid of anger in my life and try to get rid of these things. But the only one time it comes out is at work. Every once in a while, I have two calls, three calls, four calls at the same time, and I have my workers messing up or whatever, they're late or something's off, and you get mad, and it bothers me. But this gives me kind of a little bit of a don't be so upset because if it's a rough situation and you get mad, it's not as bad as getting rough and mad at a normal situation. So that's the other one lesson as far as the fact that we're all different levels. Each person's judged differently, and within each person, each situation is differently as well. The other lesson where the Sir Shalom talks about is Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem. Atem, you and you are all standing. What's the point of this? The point is the way you stand on Rosh Hashanah is with the people. Um, just being relying on your own din, your own merits, not a good thing for almost all of us. You want to go into Rosh Hashanah kulchem beguda achas. You want to show you're with the people, you're davening with the people, you're friends with the people. You want to get judged with the people. Um, there's no sin with Yisrael. In Elul Yisrael. There's no sin in Yisrael. Yisrael is kadosh. Machane is kadosh. Therefore, if I go into my mindset is to be part of the people. I am friends with the people. I love the community. I'm friends with everybody. I don't hate anybody. Then you could almost rely and say to Hashem, don't judge me myself, judge me with the people. I'm part of the people. And this sense of hispatlos, this sense of losing your ego, losing your yishus, yourself, goes a long way because this is actually how we prepare for Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, we want to show that we fast, we're wearing white, no ego, we don't eat, nothing about us. We want to say we're totally different, not just so different, but we're not even an ego. FS, we're no yishus, no ego. We're all hispatos before Kadosh Baruch Hu, just like the Kohen Gadol would bow down, the people would bow down. That's one of the reasons why we bow down on the floor is we're totally meshubed, totally spotless to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the way to feel that is to put yourself as one and lose your ego with the cloud. And to prepare for this, some people are on the board of a shul, some people are the gabbai, some people on different committees of the shul, some people are welcoming to people. It's one of the ways to prepare is kulchem. Your banim laHashem, if you're banim, if you're literally like a child, children, literally. Atem karubanu. It's not your ben, you're banim. And if you kind of are one of those people on the sidelines, you're kind of on the side, you don't want to be really friendly or social people. Again, that could be your teva, but to always remember, it's really important and critical to be kulchem with the people. It's kind of one of the lessons to kind of prepare us for Rosh Hashanah Yom Hadin. And Sivir Shalom, one of his pieces he talks about literally the last piece of in the Sefer of Devarim is El. He has El, and the last Shabbos is very important. Last Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah. One of the things he talks about this Yerushalm is the Shabbos before a Chag. The Shabbos has a little bit of koach from that Chag. So the week before Pesach, that Shabbos has a shtickle, Shabbos Agadol, as we call it. Before Rosh Yom Kippur, Shabbos Shuvah, something about Shuvah before. And this Shabbos also is a special kalach because it's right before Yom Hadin. And Sir Shalom says the Shabbos, therefore, it's called Shabbos Teshuvah because we read Nitzavim, talks about doing Shuvah. And that's why this Shabbos before, the last Shabbos of the year, has a special kalach of Shuvah. Even though we don't mention Shuvah at all, we don't mention Hate at all. Sir Shalom points out that all the Musafim of the year whether it's two parim, one aisle, seven kvasim, or 217, or 117 Shabbos. There's no chatas in the musaf. Every other musaf of the year, there's always a sir for chatas, sir for chatas, sir for chatas, but not on Shabbos. Because Shabbos, we don't talk about sin, we don't talk about chait. Because Shabbos itself brings us to a high level of teshuva by itself. Sir Shalom brings us medrash that Adam, he runs into Cain, who thought he'd be dead or something. And Cain kills Hevel, and he sees Cain. He says, "How are things? What's going on?" And Cain says, "I made a deal with Hashem, made a pshara. What's this deal? The deal is for 6 days a week. I have to travel. I have to be on the road. People trying to kill me the whole week. But Shabbos, I get to stay at my place. I get to be almost like a normal person." And Adam hears this and he hits himself on the head and he says, Mizmor Shel Yom Shabbos, Tzadi Beis. And this is where the Gemara talks, Medrash talks about where Adam started this Mizmor Shel Yom Shabbos, how great Shabbos is. That even we don't mention Chait, we don't mention Tshuva, but if you have Oneg Shabbos and you connect to Hashem with Shabbos, with other people, with a good achas, it's almost the highest level of Tshuva. And even things that Tshuva doesn't help. Chil Hashem, Avodah Zarah, there's no tshuva for those things. Shabbos, even if you do Avodah Zarah, like Dor Enosh, Shabbos is mocha. And hopefully we kind of enjoy Shabbos. I know I'll definitely enjoy Shabbos. We have a big Kiddush with two other families, the Heartsteins and the Seeds. We have a huge triple Kiddush, and I'm only paying a third, which is, I think, the biggest simcha I'm going to have. Invited a lot of people. We have Shabbos meals with my parents, my in-laws are here. My sister, brother-in-law came from America. We have all our cousins from my nieces and nephews in Eretz Yisrael. The whole shul is going to hang out together. So hopefully, L'sanagal Shabbos, if you have Oneg Shabbos, that's even a higher level of tshuva. And hopefully, we all have a beautiful Shabbos. And hopefully, we end the year in a great Shabbos, learning, enjoying family, connecting with Hashem. And hopefully, we all have a great Shana and Shabbat Shalom.